There's something I don't understand.
And what's that?
I've been reading about one of the astronauts on his trip through space. How does he get enough air to breathe?
He breathes the same air over and over. That's why they use charcoal granules to purify the air so it'll be fit to breathe again.
Charcoal granules to purify the air. Where have I seen that before? Oh, I know.
Have you read the back of New Lark's pack? The Farmer's Daughter has been brought to you by...
Nicotine marketing holds a special place in media history. Although smoking has been proven to drastically affect a person's health, print ads are still allowed in magazines containing tobacco products. In 1971, a ban was issued on all TV and radio advertisements for tobacco products, and this was issued by the FCC, or the Federal Communications Commission. Cigarette advertisements that still exist are monitored strictly by the FCC to upkeep public safety. Cigarettes, while once a big best friend of the media and marketing, due to their addictive quality and ability to make fast money in sales, fell sharply from the throne after health scares began to kick in across the nation. Cigarette ads even infiltrated popular television shows during the 1950s, such as game shows like The Price is Right, or even the popular television show I Love Lucy. Cigarette companies would buy television shows to peddle their product. Cigarettes infiltrated the television shows by sponsoring and controlling them. Although regular marketing ads were 30 seconds long, the cigarette companies made an entire live show about their products. Children growing up watching cigarette ads like Camels or the Marlboro Man were ingrained with those images because of their susceptibility at such a young age. At one point in time, cigarette companies advertised that their cigarettes were even medically safe and prescribed by doctors, which of course we know now is completely false. In 1952, Reader's Digest started publishing articles about cancer, and the cigarette controversy began. Marketing shifted because of the public fear and became much more sneaky at getting consumers hooked. Brand loyalty became increasingly important to cigarette companies because they wanted to keep their customers for life. In the late 1950s, the quiz scandals revealed that some contestants were given answers to difficult questions. These scandals allowed the government to step in and take over from the advertisers controlling shows, and the networks stepped up to replace the advertisers. This new wave of television control meant that the control of cigarette companies lessened. Congress and the Surgeon General also began to step in and battle big tobacco. In 1964, the government intervened and stated the overall dangers of smoking. The tobacco industry floundered. The Surgeon General required health warnings be issued on the cartons, but this did not immediately bleed over onto the advertisements. Cigarette advertisements came under fire for withholding health concerns, and controversy and community concern became an issue. In June 1967, the FCC decided that under the Fairness Doctrine, cigarette companies should air anti-smoking commercials alongside the commercials promoting their product. Although this was at first a good idea, cigarette companies hid these anti-PSAs when everyone was asleep instead of watching during the primetime high-volume shows. Broadcasters wanted to keep cigarette advertisers' revenue, and the cigarette companies were in pursuit of surrendering after coming under fire from the Surgeon General for about a decade. In 1969, the cigarette companies voluntarily withdrew from commercial advertising on television, and by 1961, the Cigarette Act had been passed that completely banned them from advertising on television and radio. In 1984, Congress passed even more tobacco controls and started more strictly monitoring even their print ads. The history of nicotine marketing is quite interesting, especially when something is of danger to the public health and safety. If something is dangerous to the public and addictive, why only ban it from one form of media? Why not also be concerned about its reach in magazines and print?
Your attention, please. Here is the most important disclosure ever made about cigarettes, based on a scientific fact published in leading medical journals. Philip Morris, and only Philip Morris, is entirely free of a source of irritation used in all other leading cigarettes. So stop worrying about cigarette irritation. Start smoking for pleasure. Call for Philip Morris, America's most enjoyable cigarette. And now, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in I Love Lucy.